Imagine that woman in the temple, Anna, got Samuel not because she prayed. You say why? You are welcome to another fantastic presentation. You are all welcome to today's episode of our presentation from Francis Mental Health Solution TV. We want to thank you all for your support, for being there, for all you do both night and day in encouraging us, praying for us, and helping us to share our videos. We are gladly and we are highly impressed by all your action, and definitely without mincing words, goodness and mercy shall follow all of us, shall follow you all the days of your life, shall follow me all the days of my life. And I am sure we've been learning some important life lessons from our videos, especially when it comes to the fact that we need to enhance conducive environment for our children, for our spouses, so that quality of life and better psychological well-being can be enhanced in our different homes. Today we are here with something very fantastic. Soft skill that guarantee success. Soft skill that guarantee promotion. Soft skill that guarantee achievement without stress. And that centers on that important construct, psychological construct called emotional intelligence. I am sure many of us must have heard that construct before, the concept of emotional intelligence. Many of us must have heard this concept, this psychological construct, very interesting, fantastic, that has helped a lot of people achieve in life without much stress. Practicing emotional intelligence is a key that guarantees success without stress, success without much struggle, and of course, advancement and better psychological well-being as an individual. We know that we are all born with different emotions. We are born with different kind of emotion, including happiness, including anger, including many other emotions like that. We are born with it. For example, who teaches a young baby, a newly born baby, how to get angry? And sometimes when this newborn baby gets angry, he or she will bite the nipple of the mother. And when the mother beats this child will smile sometime or will cry. So the biting of the nipple could be attributed to some level of anger in this child, a baby, newly born, but already anger is already in it. What matters most is not the emotion itself. How do we manage this emotion? For example, how do we control our anger? How do we control happiness? How do we control sadness? Since they are in us, ability to identify our emotion, manage our own emotion, as well as interpret our emotion, as well as that of others, is what is termed emotional intelligence. And in life, we have found out that many individuals do not prioritize understanding, managing, or interpreting and managing their emotion. Rather, they focus more on cognitive intelligence. When we talk about cognitive intelligence, this is what practically schools, higher institutions, secondary school usually prioritizes as an individual, even in organization. For example, if they want to employ an employee, one of the things they will look out for is that what is your class of degree? Is it first class? Is it second class upper? Is it second class lower? which is a function of the individual cognitive intelligence. Nobody is going to ask this individual if he has the emotional capacity or maturity to manage the stress associated with the job. For example, if they want to admit students into any university in Nigeria, they are looking at his or her cognitive level of intelligence. What is your score in JAMB? 200, 250, 350. These are all things attributed to cognitive intelligence. But schools are not asking, does this child has the emotional maturity to weather through the storm of medicine or pharmacy or psychology? Does this individual has the emotional maturity? It shows to what extent emotional intelligence has been downplayed in our society. And that is why we have found out today that it is important for us to bring this concept to our consciousness, learn about it, identify how we can use it, and also give us practical illustration of people who use emotional intelligence and it worked for them, and also individuals who didn't use it well and it affected them negatively, and what we can do to enhance emotional intelligence so that as an individual, as we are growing up, living our life each day, we will be far away from psychological challenges and problems. Because one beauty of emotional intelligence is that our ability to develop emotional intelligence to a level whereby someone gets to a higher level of emotional intelligence promotes higher self-esteem, promotes better psychological well-being, and also life satisfaction. Show me a marriage that is working well. I will show you a marriage whereby the couple understand how to use emotional intelligence. Show me a family whereby there is cordial relationship between the father and the mom, the father, the mother, and the children. I will show you a family that is garnished with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is so key that we as an individual, we need to learn it, we need to use it so that we can be a better individual. If I look at your face, your affect should be able to tell me whether to request something from you or otherwise. If, for example, your affect is show cheerfulness, happiness, I should be able to say, oh, this is a good time for me to approach you and request. But if the affect is dull, then that, for someone who is sensitive to emotional intelligence, who is high on emotional intelligence, would rather say, this may not be the best time to approach daddy or mommy for this kind of thing. How do we raise a healthy children? It is by understanding emotional intelligence. It's by emotionally sensitive to the feelings of our children, so that we know when they are sad, we know when they are angry, we know when they are happy, we know when they are down, so that we can respond appropriately. But emotional, unintelligent individual will say, after all, money has been provided, I have no time for this, I have no time for it. Children need the attention of their parents because they have a lot of things bombarding their psyche that they cannot resolve alone. So most times they want to talk with their dad, talk with their mom, ability to create time for them. That understanding to listen to them empathically, ability to give them attentive listening is a key factor in helping an individual to build a healthy children, healthy family, and a healthy home. Oh, it's not surprising that even Prophet Samuel was able to make rightful choice of the king of Israel. It was because he employed the principle, the concept of emotional intelligence. Far, far long ago, people have been using it. And we are going to bring to our attention today that great man of God, Prophet Samuel. We all remember as Bible students, was sent by God to go to Jesse's family and appoint a king. Yes, he must have prayed. He must have dedicated himself to deliver the assignment. But when he got there, the first son that came, Prophet Samuel already believed that was the king. But what helped him not to make mistake of a wrong choice for the nation of Israel was empathic listening, attentive listening to the voice of God. And this is one of the ingredients of emotional intelligence, ability to listen attentively with undivided attention, ability to listen to the other individual, communicating and show empathy, show understanding. Because somebody might say, oh, Prophet Samuel was able to make a wrong choice because he was a prophet. Yes, you are correct, but beyond being a prophet. If not because he practiced emotional intelligence of empathic listening and attentive listening to God, he would have made the wrong choice of choosing the first son who came. And he saw the first son and said, oh, behold, the anointed of the Lord, the King of Israel is coming. But God said, no, 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 no. This is not the king. This can't be the king, for I have not chosen him. At that point in time, every one of us psychologically, how do we feel? What do we think will be running through the mind of Prophet Samuel, a great prophet, well respected by everybody who heard about him, who he has been hearing from God. Of course, he heard from God before he got to that point, but he almost made the mistake. Except for the father, if not for the father, he practiced attentive listening to God and obedience. And of course, he might have thought, okay, if the firstborn, who appear very handsome, very good looking, attractive, of course, has physical characteristics of a king, tall man, handsome, good looking. When that man was rejected, he might have probably been thinking, could it be the second born? Alas, the second born came. We all knew the story. He was rejected. Third born, rejected. Why? Because Prophet Samuel was listening attentively to God. What lesson do we need to draw from this as an individual, as students in class? Listening attentively. As believers, listening attentively to God, giving God rapt attention. And as an individual in our life journey, in making choice, we need to look beyond the surface, look beyond the physical, and look into the inner part of the other individual. And only God knows that, and only God can give us the revelation of the inner one. So attentive listening was the factor that helped Samuel not to make terrible mistake that he would have made, assuming he did not practice emotional intelligence. Fellow listeners, beautiful audience, esteemed audience, we could see at the end of the whole exercise, he was able to anoint the right person, David the king. And because he followed God step by step, listening to the voice of God. Emotional intelligence. In life success, in life achievement, we found out that people who are successful today, they are not the Efiko, the Efiwe, the most successful people today. They are not the most brilliant people when they were in school. Yes, as much as cognitive intelligence, being brilliant, having high IQ, in other words, having high intellectual quotient is good in life. But beyond that, research has shown that most successful people in life are those people who are able to blend, who are able to combine high IQ or average IQ with high level of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence will teach you to be sensitive to how you are feeling. If you are feeling sad, Emotional intelligence or self-awareness or emotional awareness will sensitize you to ask yourself, why this sadness? That is emotional awareness. If you are feeling happy, then emotional awareness is telling you to say, why is this happiness coming? If you are feeling angry, you don't just get angry. Ask yourself, why is anger coming? Your child is angry, your husband is angry, or your wife is unhappy. Being emotionally sensitive to other people is part of emotional intelligence. And it has helped so many people in life to achieve, so many entrepreneurs. How will you manage your star successfully? How will your star be able to give their best successfully? Except you practice emotional intelligence. Punishing them with queries, with so many other things, can only produce little effect. But when you have good leadership skills embedded in emotional intelligence, you will find out that they will go extra mile for you even when you are not there. By emotional intelligence, many individuals have been able to overcome challenging situations, and rather than being a failure, they become successful. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed people. Could you imagine that woman in the temple, Anna, got Samuel not because she prayed? You say, why? Really? That woman prayed very well. She did a lot of prayer. Even her mouth was shaking. Even the prophet Eli noticed her mouth shaking. But I want to tell you as a psychologist that what gave Samuel to Hannah after many years of waiting on the Lord was not only because she prayed, but because she used emotional intelligence, an ingredient of emotional intelligence called impulse control. How did this happen? At last the man of God got to her and accused her of drinking or getting drunk very early in the morning. Normally one would have expected, and somebody would have said that it was justified for Hannah to have challenged the man and said, and you call yourself a man of God. Shouldn't you know that this is not a behavior of a drunk person? Shouldn't you have known that this is a behavior of someone who was praying? But Hannah did not do that. What the prophet said was enough to provoke her to anger. And if she had gotten angry, she would have lost the blessing of that big man of God, Samuel, that was sent to that family. But she managed her anger. She used emotional intelligence to tell herself, so please, this is not the time to be angry. I must get my blessing today. And he told the man of God, say, sir, your daughter, your servant is not drunk. She's only pouring out that she was only pouring out the content of her heart. And that day, the prophet said, may the God of Israel answer your prayer. If you were the woman like Anna, and somebody called you a drunk person at that point in time, what will you do? You would have insulted the man. You would have abused the man. You would have insulted him and sent him back to his temple. Oh, emotional intelligence helped Anna to overcome the temptation. And with overcoming that temptation, the blessing of Samuel came. And many years of barrenness ended. And joy came to that family. You can imagine how important emotional intelligence is in dealing with life circumstances. So as an individual, what are you expecting? What are you waiting for? What are you praying for? You need to apply emotional intelligence. Manage your emotion. Don't let your emotion drive you. Are you going through one challenge or the other? Are you at a crossroad of life? It appears you are the only one. Don't let the sadness overwhelm you. Ability to know when you are sad, ability to control your sadness is emotional intelligence in application. You are happy. Ability to control your happiness so that your happiness will not put you in trouble. is part of emotional intelligence. May I tell you, there was a young man, a young child at a time, who won several awards in millions. And this individual was in secondary school. But because the organization who gave that award knew that if they give this money to this child at that point in time, that happiness, the joy is likely to kill the child. So before they gave the money to the child, this individual was sent to go and see a psychologist to work on his mind, to work on him first and foremost, so that the joy of getting that award will not kill him. We have seen several people today that joy, happiness has killed them. You can imagine if that child gets that huge amount of money in millions, a time will come that he will, even in class, will tell the teacher, because of happiness, how much is your salary? Mr. X and Y, how much is your salary? I can pay your salary. Or sometime will come, because of the money in his account, he will not move with his old friends again. He wants to be a big guy. He wants to be moving with people that is even older, far beyond him, who will not add value to his life, so that joy will not kill him. In order for him to manage his emotion, he was sent to psychologists to first of all work on his mindset, such that when the money is given to him later, he will use it judiciously. Emotional intelligence is so fantastic. Are you having a situation at home whereby you know that using, fighting, struggling? Are you having certain situation at home whereby you have tried all of that thing, it's not working? You can apply, you have prayed, yet not solved. You have fasted, not solved. You have used your intelligence, not solved. You have brought in people. Could you just practice emotional intelligence of tolerance? Ability to tolerate the other person. Ability to look away from the fault of the other individual and focus on the good side of the other person can go a long way in helping to resolve the solution. And that is emotional intelligence. Ability for you to keep quiet when you should talk. There are some individuals, when the other person is talking, they want to talk back. They want to show that they are not fool. They want to show that they can talk. No. It can crumble a beautiful home, relationship that have been built for years. Impulse control. I want to tell a very fantastic story. You might have heard that of Samuel. You might have heard that of even Hannah in the temple with Prophet Eli. Have you also heard of the Lord Jesus Christ, in which the woman that came to him asking for the healing of her daughter, and Jesus told this woman, the bread that are meant for children are never given to dogs. If you are the one, how will you have reacted? Somebody would have said, and Jesus, you are calling a human being dog, and you call yourself a child of God, you call yourself a son of God. What kind of savior have you? People with low emotional intelligence are likely to react that way, but that woman didn't do that because she was high on emotional intelligence, because she was garnished with emotional intelligence. She replied and said, Lord, of course, the bread meant for children are not given to dogs, but even dogs will eat of the crumb that falls from their master's table. The woman was not angry, didn't allow what she had, the information, to crumble her mind. She used emotional intelligence to manage the situation, and at last, Jesus said, this is a big faith. She got the healing for her daughter. So we can see that the use of emotional intelligence is very key, is very important. Is a solution giver, is a pathway to having a better lifestyle. And you can imagine that day, that woman not only got the healing for her daughter, she also became a friend of Jesus Christ. She also became someone that will get home and will be happiness to other people. Are you an individual that little things you get angry, little things you are disturbed emotionally? You may need to learn about emotional intelligence, because it's a key that helps an individual to survive in this present world. We are living in a life in a world that is filled with a lot of things. Ability to manage your emotion and manage the emotion of others is part of emotional intelligence. How come that you get angry when your information that you thought was confidential became leaked out? Why are you getting angry when you gave your information to somebody that cannot keep those information? You know your friend is a loquacious, is a garrulous, if she doesn't or he doesn't talk, that is a problem. Yet you confided in that individual, somebody you know that he must surely talk, must surely bring whatever is in himself or herself, and you make that person your confidential secretary. What kind of confidential secretary would that be? So when the information gets leaked out, don't get angry, because emotional intelligence should have told you in the first place that this person cannot keep your information confidential. Young individual coming up in life, you want to achieve, and you are making somebody who is smoking, who is drinking alcohol, your best friend. Definitely, birds of the same feather, you say, flocks together. There is no way over time you are going to be entangled, because emotional intelligence should have told you in the first place this cannot be your best friend. Emotional intelligence on and on like that is continued. You want to enjoy your old age. You want to have an old age with pleasure, with happiness. As you lay your bed now, the same, you will lie on it. You need to build a fantastic relationship with your children while they are still very young, so that in old age they will not forget you, because old age is a period whereby those who use emotional intelligence to train their children, they are assured that they will never be lonely. Even wherever they are, their children will want to look for them, because there is already bonding between them and their parents. So looking at the concept of emotional intelligence, those who are low in it are likely to fall into depression, into anxiety, into suicidality. And we have seen so many issues that this has caused in our society. So it's very important as an individual, being emotionally intelligent, being emotionally literate is a key we must adopt as a lifestyle. And as we do that, it will go a long way in helping us in living a life that is a quality life that we can be proud of, both young and old, and we will live a better lifestyle. So are you interested in knowing more? Or do you feel like, oh, this something is something interesting to me? Let me tell you, it's something you can learn, it's something that you can acquire, and it will go a long way in helping you. You can share this video with so many people. You can like this video. We encourage you to share this video with other people, so that this beautiful concept of emotional intelligence, they can learn about it. As married, as single, as employed, as employer, we need emotional intelligence. And as you practice it, it will go a long way. So if you are benefited from this episode, from this content, kindly help us share, kindly help us like, kindly help us subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification button, so that at any point in time we drop another content, you can be notified and other people too can benefit from it. So finally, there was a man that used emotional intelligence in the Bible, and that man was Paul. And he concluded by saying, none of these things move me. None of these things move me. None of these things move me. And what made him say that is because he has developed that thick skin, that capacity, and that resilience. And he comes to a conclusion that none of these things move me. Even we can see lastly that an animal one day was thrown into a pit by the owner. And when this animal found that himself was thrown into the pit, the animal employed emotional intelligence. How? As the animal dropped into this dry well or dry pit, the animal looked up and saw so many other human beings at the top trying to heap sand on the back of this animal. Initially, the animal felt that they were there to help, but when the animal started sensing and having several sand falling on his back, initially the animal thought the people has come to help him, but later when the load of sand was dropping on its back, the animal was in shock. Initially in despair, initially in unbelief. Could it be true? Those whom he thought would have helped him were the ones that wanted to bury him inside the pit. This animal engaged in emotional intelligence. How? The animal started using the same sound to move out of the pit. And what happened is that as each load of the sand were dropping on the animal's back, the animal was shaking his back and was stepping up on those sand. Each load of sand that were dropping on the back of that animal, the animal was shaking his back and was stepping on it. Gradually shaking his back and stepping on the sand, shaking his back, stepping on the sand. Gradually the animal walked out of the dry well majestically, indicating that, and by extension, what naturally would have destroyed the animal was the thing he used as a stepping stone outside the dry well. That is emotional intelligence. He didn't give in to sadness. The animal did not give in to despair. The animal struggled, used his last energy, adjusted himself, adapt, and determined that this is not the final point. And the animal came out of the situation using emotional intelligence. Are there things that appears that, oh, they are likely to bury you? Are there things that are serving like a stumbling block on your way? Turn them to stepping stone. Let them serve as a stepping stone to your greatness. Let it serve as a ladder to you, to your greatness, to your championship. Because with emotional intelligence and the support of God and the support of people around you, all things are possible. Are you ready for a new level? Are you ready for a new dimension? Are you ready for a new achievement? Use emotional intelligence and you will find out that from now onward, goodness and mercy shall continue to follow you all the days of your life. You can type it in the comment section. Say, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And all the days of my life, goodness and mercy. Until then we meet again, share this video to other people. Let them learn about emotional intelligence. It's a key for life success. It's a key for achievement. It's a key for better psychological well-being. How can you be close to God without using emotional intelligence? You want to be close to God, you need emotional intelligence. Until we meet again, I see you in our next episode. I say goodbye for now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm very grateful.